Okay, so hola. Today we are going to be reviewing, hopefully for most of you, for some of you this may be new, El Presente Progresivo en Español. So the present progressive is really how we say the ing or ing forms of verbs in Español. We're going to be using this a little bit over the next couple of weeks, and it is something you will likely see throughout the rest of your Spanish careers. So what is the present progressive anyway? We use the present progressive to talk about what's going on right now. In other words, we use it to talk about an action that is happening at the moment a question is being asked and answered. So for example, if I were to walk up to one of you right now and you're completing this activity, I would say, ¿Qué estás haciendo? What are you doing? And you might be answering by saying, Yo estoy escribiendo los apuntes. I am writing the notes. So it's an emphasis on an action that is happening at a specific moment. This is a compound verb tense, which means you have a helping verb, that is your form of the verb estar here, plus the present participle, which is the ing form of the second verb, to form the present progressive. And as we get situated, it's very important to remember that you always need to have a conjugation of the verb estar in the present to form the presente progresivo, present progressive. So just to make sure that we're all set on what this means and what we have here, for estoy, we have I am. Tú estás, you are. Él, ella, or usted está, he or she is, or you are. Nosotros estamos, we are. Vosotros estáis, you all are, in Spain. And ellos or ellas están, they are, or you all are. Once again, this is your helping verb. It's your general way of making sure that we know about whom or to whom someone is speaking. It's also important to know what a present participle is. In English, it is the ing form of a verb. And we need to know how to form these. Be aware there's only one way to form each present participle. This is not the same as a full conjugation of a verb like what you've seen in the past. So for AR verbs, what you do is you drop the AR, quita la AR, okay? And you add añade, ando, A-N-D-O. So por ejemplo, el participio presente, the present participle of empacar, to pack, is empacando, packing. For ER and IR verbs, corta or cut off, la ER o IR, the ER or IR, and you're going to add iendo, I-E-N-D-O. So, por ejemplo, el participio presente del verbo ver is viendo, V-I-E-N-D-O. Ver is to see, viendo, seeing. Y el participio presente del verbo ocurrir, to happen or to occur, is ocurriendo, happening or occurring. What we have here are a couple of examples, actually a few examples, so you can see what we have here. The Spanish is given to you in writing. I'm going to say the English translation out loud. It is your responsibility to get down both pieces of information so that you have this as a quick reference as to how this should look when it's all put together. So our ejemplos are, mi familia está empacando para nuestro viaje. My family is packing for our trip. Yo estoy escribiendo un mensaje a mis estudiantes. I am writing a message to my students. And finally, nosotros estamos conduciendo a Nueva York en este momento. We are driving to New York at this moment. Be aware, as you can see here, that we have a conjugation of the verb estar. That's how you know about whom the sentence is speaking. And then the present participles, the ando and iendo forms of the verb, don't have much of a change. They just have that one change where you cut off the AR and add the ando or iendo ending. Of course, we have a few wonky things as well, a bit of information about present participles, and you'll notice that a lot of these changes here or lack of changes are very similar to what you do in the preterite. So this should be somewhat familiar to you. Hopefully once you see it, it might ring a little bell. So para verbos con cambios de raíz, stem changing verbs. Just like in the preterite, AR and ER verbs that have a stem change in the present, like jugar, to play sports or games, or volver, to return, and this is to return as in a person is returning to a place, do not have a stem change in the regular, normal, and boring as heck. So, por ejemplo, you have jugando for jugar, and that's playing. And for volver, you have volviendo, returning. However, also like in the preterite, IR verbs that have a stem change in the present do have a stem change in the present participle. So our examples here for verbs that change from E to I in the present participle are verbs like preferir, to prefer, and pedir, to ask for or to order. And these are verbs that change from E to I or E to IE in the present. You'll note that they change from E to I in the preterite. So for preferir, our present participle is prefiriendo, and for pedir, our present participle is pidiendo. Also, verbs like dormir, that change from O to UE in the present, dormir to sleep, of course, change from O to U in the present participle. So dormir becomes durmiendo. Finally, ir, oír, so ear to go, oír to be, and verbs that end with AER, EER, and UIR, with the exception, of course, as you see at the bottom of seguir, because it's irregular in the present tense, have present participles ending with yendo. So you do have some examples here, just to make sure that you have them as a point of reference. For ir, to go, we have yendo, going. Traer, to bring, we have trayendo, bringing. Construir, to build, we have construyendo, building. Creer, to believe, creyendo, believing. Oír, to hear, oyendo, hearing. Leer, to read, leyendo, reading. And destruir, to destroy, destruyendo, destroying. What you should do now is take a few moments, complete the exercises on page 3, and then have me check your work. Of course, I apologize. You can hear my dogs whining in the background because one of them wants into the room and the other one wants attention. Gracias, and call me over to make sure that you've got accurate information.